So I have done that already. I didn't want to do that again, so I had to find a different approach.
Good morning.
Morning,
Morning,
Don.
Dawn.
Good morning.
Morning, Don.
Morning, Don.
Morning.
All right. Well,
Good
just
day to you, Don.
5 minutes ago, I was sitting here getting ready to do the show, and the mouse battery light came on. So I've got a 4-minute charge on my mouse. Should get us through the time. If it doesn't, I don't know what the hell we'll do, but we'll figure it out at the time. All right. Well, I'm glad you're all here. So let's get into it. Everything going down here, okay? And everything up here is all right. And I'm gonna share screen. There we go. All right, let's see. It's really, really interesting how we started with big splashes, and now we end up with very subtle splashes, and how many of these shots are just really lovely shots, really nice, nicely done, and a lot of finesse goes into this work. It's very cool, very, very cool. Very excited about it. I'm excited about the upcoming portrait class too. It's putting that thing together has been a blast. It's going to be a cool class, and we will not be photographing anybody wearing masks. So I think that's been done to death. So we're not doing it. All right, Rainey.
Hello, hello.
Hi. You got that little sun. It's so subtle that you don't even notice it, and when you do, it's like it's a surprise.
I struggled so hard. I wanted to try to make a big splash, and it just kept coming out as bubbles. Maybe it's because the way that I did it. I really struggled with trying to figure out the logistics of this one.
Well, did you do the background in Photoshop, or is that light coming through
No.
Swim?
That's light coming through on the behind the scenes is next.
Yep.
So it's light with a flash with a gel behind, and then the two flashes on the side.
Okay.
And then I held hand held the flower down to where it was at. So it was one picture.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I just handheld that. So I had the flower in one hand and I had my remote in the other hand, and I kind of wiggled the flower to try to get the movement in the water.
Very, very clever. I think you need to give it a little bit more contrast. It looks fairly soft contrast, Rainy, and I think you should do that. And then maybe see how it's darker here and lighter here? Maybe accentuate that a little bit. Let it have like an inner glow to it. And other than that, it's a very nice shot. Clean, beautiful.
Thank you.
And so
Thank
subtle, so absolutely subtle. No one will ever know how you did this shot if you don't show them this one. So.
Yeah, it was definitely a struggle. And, actually, I think that might have been, no, that was one shot because I did try to pour water on top to try to get a splash, and that didn't work. That's where I was trying to do the splash thing. So it just worked moving that flower around.
Rainey, did you have to glue that down to the bottom of the tank?
No, actually that's at the top of the tank. Oh, wait. Let me see what it, oh, no. Okay, yeah, no, I just set it down into the tank and then I shot at an angle, like going up, like I shot.
But you only filled it till the water just got to the top of the item. Yeah.
Yep.
So you didn't have any floating issues.
Yeah, very cool.
No, the flower kept trying to float up, but that was working to my advantage because then as I pushed it down, it would make the ripples.
Yeah, I think the glass of that container is probably too heavy to float.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was a full bottle, so
yeah,
and yeah, so
yeah.
It's interesting. I never guessed you shot it upside down like that. It never even occurred to me.
Well, I couldn't figure out any other way to do it. I tried to do like a shallow, and I'm like, this is not working. I'm getting like all this background that I can't get rid of. And I'm like, okay. So then I went back to YouTube. A million YouTube videos later, I watched one where somebody did it upside down and went, oh, well, maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
Well, say if anybody ever asks you how you did it, you tell them you have a, you caught it just as it hit the top of the water.
Right. I'm just that skilled.
Yeah. How many times did it take you? It took me two times. First time I was a little early and I nailed it. Very good, Rainey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jorge.
Hello.
Hey, Jorge.
So this one, so it's Lotus season. So I mean, Tranquil, it's a Lotus in the pond. I mean, that's the thing here. All the spots have it. So what I did though is, if you go to the BTS, I picked an actual Lotus bud, 3D scanned it, and turned it into the bottle. So the bottle has that texture on it.
Cool.
And
Very
so I didn't want to slap a label on it because that would ruin it. And then inside's liquid, which is no shit. And then there's the just very simple one backlight and one for the background. And then yeah.
What are all these?
Okay, so when I use photogrammetry, so I took around 60 shots from all angles around the bud, and then I have software that will put it together into a 3D object.
Okay.
And then
that becomes your splash.
no, that becomes the bottle.
Oh.
That's the bottle. And then in Blender, I gave it a glass texture.
Oh.
Okay. And then put another one inside for the liquid. And then the splashes is an animation. So what I did is I took every odd frame and superimposed on each other. And then that outer one came out that looked like petals. And if you've seen one of these lotuses in bloom, they kind of look like that. The outer layer of petals almost go flat.
Yeah.
So I just put it on there. And then it had a lot of shadow inside from the water. So I just blended in the bottle shot by itself. So it's also a composite of both.
Yeah, that's really cool. Beautifully done. Very photographic.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be a kind of a hallmark of what you do with that, Jorge, is that your understanding of photography is so good that you bring that skill to the 3D rendering.
Yeah, that's actively trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good.
How long did that take?
Actually, this one went pretty fast. So I had the concept by Sunday because I was walking home and there's a lotus pond down the street, and I wanted to go photograph. I'm like, hey, I wanted to try photogrammetry on it. So, and like I said, the concept of the lotus being peaceful is just very common here. So most of the time was spent waiting for the computer to do like calculations. But basically I picked the bud on Sunday, scanned it in, and then I was done by Tuesday. I first posted it on Tuesday.
Oh, so not long at all. Nice.
Yeah, just the concept came fast. That's why, basically. And the rest was just getting it done. But like I said, most of the time I spent waiting for him. My computer's kind of slow. So.
Very good, man. I like it.
Thank you.
I did a really good job. And I think that bringing your skills, the lighting skills, photographing skills forward will be pretty powerful in what you do.
My next step is to put in the 3D objects into an actual photograph and combine them.
Yeah. Have you seen those Disney films? There's one called Dinosaur.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're
You
talking about.
should,
Yeah.
you should watch it because it's real footage and whatever you call CGI blended.
Okay.
And wow, it's pretty powerful. You know, the ocean's a real ocean and the dinosaurs not, you know, it's not. It's rendered, but done so beautifully. You believe the whole thing. So,
All right. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
yep. All right. So, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
how did you do this one, sir?
That's like a baking sheet, a cookie sheet
Uh-huh.
that I filled with about 32 ounces of water. And then I glued a translucent shaft to the back. That's it right there. And I just splashed it and fired the camera with the remote at the same time. And got the little splash because
Yeah.
it said just to have a little splash, not a big one. So
You got nice light coming back through this.
yeah, well, I wanted to get, it said to get they use translucent bottles, so I wanted to try to stay true to that. And you can see a little bit of the shaft in the back, and I imagine if I worked hard enough, I could probably take that out. But I don't know, my Photoshop skills are still lacking. I'm so behind on that, but they're getting better.
Good. Make them get better. You want them to get better for sure.
Yeah, no, and this class has really pushed me in that regard, so that's really been good. So,
Excellent.
but this was a fun one.
Excellent. Is this big light going off?
Yes, that's the main light, 4x3 softbox, and then I have another studio strobe shooting into the white paper in the background with a pink and yellow filter over it.
Oh, you're using filters to get the.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. And then I have two Nikon speed lights on the side pointed down at the bottom of the bottle to light the water when the splash came up. So that's what.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, this is what happens when you shoot gels into white. You're going to get pastel colors. You can't get
Yeah.
rich colors
Right.
into white, but then you take advantage of that pastel look by doing it that way. Yeah, cool.
I was happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of lights for a little bottle.
A little bottle. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but look how nice the highlights are up at the cap here.
Right.
The cap just looks alive, and the label looks really good. It's nice and poppy. I liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dean. Is Dean here? Dean. Yeah. I
Sorry,
see.
Don. Yeah, just trying to get the unmute to go. Good morning.
Good morning. This is a cool bottle, by the way. The Nautica bottle is so cool. I'll start out with one thing that I say. I wish there was more space over here because I think it may look to some people like it's cut off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So clone a little bit more out that way. So we know that this is the bottle, because this is the bottle. It's flat on one side and it's got this round, it's like a sail. It's beautifully done. This is nice highlights in the cap. I love the bubbles here. I'm not sure about the label coming through the splash though. Did you do that? You did that in Photoshop, right?
Yeah, well, you could see it, but I enhanced it a bit of the.
Oh, okay. Take the enhancement down half.
Okay.
Half, yeah. Very, very, yeah, really nice. Got nice light coming through the back. It almost looks like water back there. So now, is this a splash rushing up to it? It's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, basically, I had a tube and I poured the tubes outside the frame and I poured water down the tube to try and get that effect of. I was trying to create like a bow wave on it. The idea is that the shadow there is meant to look like a sail.
And your
shadow in the water is meant to look like a sail.
And your what is this reflection here? Is this in the water?
I've got on an angle behind it. I'm trying to create a shadow. So the light's coming on a big angle up from the top, coming right through it.
Okay.
So was trying to create a shadow to look like a sail.
Okay.
So that was the, so I was trying to create a shadow across the front there.
So is this on a separate layer or is it on this layer?
Most of it's on that layer. There's a little bit of blending it on the, to get more of the shadow underneath.
All right. Okay. Personally, I would take this out
Okay.
only because it competes with this. We don't know what it is. We can't read it. It's not blurry enough to be a shadow. It looks more like a reflection, and then it catches our eye. And now I would say take it out very carefully. Take it out. Just have it be white with the water rushing up, or maybe add some more water down to it. I think in this case the bottle's so simple, the shot is so simply put together. Let's just stay with that simplicity and not try to add too much. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you look at something like this, these things, sometimes you realize how much effort went into designing this bottle, right? And so whenever you're shooting these bottles, you want to make sure the design shows, and you've done that very well. I think you're too much to the edge, but you've really shown this curve of the bottle here. And on a fragrance like this, with that unique of a bottle, whether the name shows through or not, it's probably not important. I think it's Chanel number 5. There's no label on the bottle. Does anybody out there have Chanel? Oh, I mean, Arnold's got to have a couple of Chanel sitting around. You
No, Chanel has a label. Chanel has a label on it. Yeah.
On the number 5?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
I have shot it, yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really nice. In the background, I guess, for Dean's shot. Yeah, Dean, I think you got something going here. I don't know if this is the shot, but you've got something going here. I would continue with this. Get it absolutely perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. David.
Morning, Don. How are you?
Good, David. How are you? That's such a rough sea behind there. Is this an upside down one? Nope.
No.
All right. It's so rough back here. That's very nice. How many shots did it take to get all of this?
Well, once I had the concept worked out, it took me about 4, but I had about 60 trying to figure out how to get the water in. And then once I put a funnel behind the bottle on a stick and then would pour water into the funnel so it would just hit the back. And then so I did 2 pictures, one where I took the top half with the bottle without the funnel and one with the bottom half with the splash. And
okay. Now, how did you get the green and white?
The green and white's all done with the light in back, inverse square, all that kind of happy stuff. Just put a little strobe up there with a green filter on it. It's close at the top, down at the bottom. Then I metered it, as you see there, and then I set my product at kind of in between at F11.
So it's just overexposed green going to regular exposed green.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about 248 at the top, something like that. And then even at F11, the bottle would just slightly kind of dimmer, and I wanted, so I probably pushed it 2 or 3 points or something like that, just to make the bottle stand out a little more.
Well, bottle is so well done. All your dark edges here. This thing, even though this is white, and it's no doubt in our mind that it's white, we don't think this is gray. But it's not as white as that, and that's really well done. When you shoot white T-shirts, you got to make white T-shirts look white. But if they're shot on white, the white background is going to be brighter. It's me cleaner. Yeah. This is nice and clean down through here. Your label looks really good. Overall, this is an excellent shot, David. All this color down here is really, really pretty. The blue, I take it, is coming from the label?
Blue and green aquarium stones, because I wanted to lift the bottle up so I didn't see the back baking tray. So I put it on aquarium stones and tried to colors that blended with the label, and then just threw water at it.
Very nice. Love it, man. Good shot. Great shot.
Thank you.
And the cleanness of this area up here, the absolute perfect rendition of that that white bottle against the white background is technique. It's artistically it's a good shot, and technically it's a good shot. Very well done.
So you filled that pan all the way to the rim so you can't see the lip of the back, right?
Did you catch that, David?
All the way to have standing on the aquarium stones.
Okay.
He's cutting in and out, but he's got stones up here to get it a little bit higher than that rim in the back. Yeah.
Okay, because that was one of the things I was struggling with, which is why I went to the upside down picture, because I'm like, I can't figure out how to get rid of this.
Me too. Patricia here. I have a question for David. David, you said you blended the two shots, one with the splash and one without the splash or something. How did you put them together in Photoshop? Because I struggled to get all the things lined up.
You're muted, David. David, you're muted.
Okay, yeah, the internet went down here and then came back up. Sorry. What was the last question?
Hi, sorry, I was just saying that you said you blended two shots or something together, one with the splash and one without the splash. And I was just wondering, did you have trouble lining up any of the parts of the bottle? Because I struggled because they had moved slightly with the splash, and so it wasn't exactly the same position with that as without the splash and stuff like that. I think my Photoshop skills are probably a bit limited, but
no, well, what I did is when I set it up, I made sure that what I wanted to blend out, which was my funnel and other things, I made sure it was at the top half above. So all I had to do is I split it kind of at the middle and just on the bottle. And so all I had to do was take out my funnel, and the rest was just the splash as shot pretty much. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. And clever idea with the stones. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Years of manufacturing engineering, I think, of stuff, but that's the first time I really used umbrellas for anything serious. And I just tucked them in really close, and they did what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Cool.
Yeah, I figured it's an opaque bottle. I wasn't worried about speculars or anything like that. I just wanted to blow light all over the place, and they did. So
no, umbrellas are usually not used in tabletop, but if there's nothing shiny, there's no reason you can't use them in tabletop. So what you've done here, David, is basically it's not working like an umbrella, it's working like a scrim.
Yeah.
It's simply a scrim in front of your light. So it's the same as if you'd made a white scrim and put it in. You just have these tines, these lines that run out in an umbrella, and you've got the curvature of it. So it falls off a little bit more on the edges. But other than that, there's no problem. The only problem that comes up with umbrellas, if you're shooting glassware or, a toaster or something, you'll actually see the shape of the umbrella. But on something like this, you can see doesn't matter at all.
And I used a Stoffen inside the umbrella too to really spread the light around them.
Excellent. Very good.
Hey, can I ask a question about that funnel?
Yeah.
Did you have a hose hooked to the funnel where you're pouring water? I can't really see. I can see the arrow to which the funnel is, but is there a hose that goes from the funnel to somewhere so that it comes out?
No, what I had was, I've got the stick holding the funnel right where I want it.
Uh-huh.
And then I held a pitcher with my right hand over, and then I would pour a splash in and hit the shutter, and I just kept doing that. But I was holding a pitcher above the bottle hitting the funnel. Of course, if I hit it too far right, it splashed too far left, that kind of thing. So it took a few shots to line the splash up the way I wanted.
So is the funnel horizontal or is it vertical?
It's sitting there at an angle.
Okay.
45 degrees to the back of the product. And the product is tilted back actually about 2 degrees.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Shaw.
I know.
Hi. Now, is this shopped in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're still in close, Don. I think you need to zoom out a bit. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I shot that as 2 separate shots, and then the background color I added as a fill layer in Photoshop as well.
Okay.
So one for the bottle, one for the splash, then the fill layer for the background.
Okay. I like it better back than I did up close. Thank you for catching that. Check your reading for this. This is supposed to be white, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it quite is. I would tell you this: get this to white and let everything else come up with it,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll have your shot, because your contrast seems to be pretty good. You're not going to pure black here. It's a very, very, very dark gray. You're not going to pure black, but you get this this black right here with the Paris and the fluor. The gold looks good. You see how nice the gold looks here? Your highlights look good. Let's get this up to white, because right now I think it's right on the verge of flat, right on the edge. It's not going to take much, Mark. It'll probably take just like a few points to get this to white, and then the image will pop.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Don.
Looks like you've got a light coming back through the back of it there, Mark.
That's for the, okay, where you've got your cursor, that's the, that's for the bottle. Then the one on the right is what I used for the splash.
Okay, got it. Down here where you're melting this in, melt it behind, not into. Okay.
Okay.
Let this water come literally in front of it. Don't let it see through it. I'll make it almost like it's opaque water. We know that it's not, but it needs to be. If you're going to let the water come through here, I mean, let the glass come through the water with me. You know where I'm talking about, right in the corner here? Where it
So
looks
just
like
melt it a little bit then.
Well, if you do that, you got to wave it, because remember, if we were looking at that water through the glass, it would be wavy. It would be, you know.
Because I just used a mask with
Refracted.
I just used a mask with low opacity to sort of blend that.
Yeah, don't blend it. Actually cut it. Cut the water in front and let it sit down into the water.
Okay, so it's sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Real good. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, Rick Matkowski. Wow, great bottle here, Rick.
Thanks, Don. Hey, Don, just before you get into it, I've got 2 images in here trying to follow the right up in the brief, right? So if I misunderstood, then please skip over the second one to be fair to everybody else. But your brief said if you're challenged enough, do 2. So I took you up on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's just an error that I left in from the other class, but that's all right. No worries. Really nice catch with the timing of it. Looks like your strobe is freezing every tiny bit of it. Is this Photoshop? This bottle is obviously shot separate. Did you use the bottle itself to make the splash?
Yes, I did. Yeah, bottled separately. there's actually kind of 3 stages. The bottle with the ribbon, that background is all done in one shot.
Okay.
Then the next stage was a piece of tempered glass that I've got, and I've created like 3, for lack of a better word, 3 walls, leaving the back wall open, right? So that you can get the infinity look.
Okay. Yeah.
And it only takes a little bit of water. So put that water in there. Hair dryer to establish ripples. And then the third was handheld on the bottle, just to tap that down a few times, getting the splashes, and then bring that all together. So it's really the one shot, and then you bring in the water effects as two layers essentially.
Very nice. And I love the way you used your scrim here to get this real bright highlight right here, let it fall off.
Yeah.
It almost covers the entire side of this cap, where this one's soft and goes over here. We get a little bit dark side of the cap. So you're adding dimension.
Yeah.
You're not making it look like a mirror image of itself. You're actually controlling it. It's very subtle, and it's really well done, Matt.
Thank you. That was, you're absolutely right, Don, as you always are. A scrim and a strip box on camera right, and then a reflector on camera left.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. On that, on your horizon in the back,
Yeah.
how did you get that soft to transition from the water to the background?
Well, again, because of the shooting table, what I mentioned, it doesn't have a lip on it, right? So you're kind of already starting with infinity.
Oh, okay.
And then because that's a water layer brought in, then it's just masking with a black brush on your white mask, and just blend it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Using a hair dryer for the ripples was something I wish I'd have thought of.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Yeah, worked great.
And then the only not trick there, but what you can kind of get different looks depending on how you light the ripples, right? The position of your light. Because obviously you position incorrectly or poorly, you can blow them out, and then you don't hardly see them, which may be an effect for certain shots, right? Very subtle. To other things you can do to actually get very contrasty ripples. Yeah, there's that shooting table.
Yep.
The white tempered glass, and I've just glued on PVC, I think is what I used here, 1/2 inch or so PVC on 3 sides. And that back edge doesn't have one. So then you've got to set the table at a little bit of an angle, right?
Keep
to
the
hold the
water
water without it all spilling off the back edge.
Sure.
There's not much water in there. It's very, very shallow. So it's pretty easy to control.
Oops, sorry. So yeah, it doesn't take much water to get that splash. Really very well, super well done, sir. Your dial here is also excellent.
The same approach here.
Yeah. I hope
with a floating leaf that my wife thinks is, she didn't like that. So
I hope everybody sees how beautiful these highlights are. So controlled. This looks fantastic. Is the leaf a separate shot?
No, it's actually in there with when I was doing the splash. I just laid it's not a real leaf. It was a prop that I have.
Okay.
I think I should have shot with a real leaf. Something.
Yeah, so
I was trying to replicate that leaf that's on the product, right?
Yeah, but you didn't. That's the problem. I'm with your wife.
Yeah.
If this is still set up, do it again, lose the leaf. You don't need the leaf in this particular case. The splash that you've created, everything you created here is absolutely perfect. Just because it's not the same kind of leaf as that, I have no idea what that leaf is there. But this leaf is, it's different. It's got different shapes to it. And it's not even really attractive, Rick. The leaf itself isn't. It looks like sort of kind of like a dead bird there. But your splash is incredible.
You weren't talking to my wife, were you, Don?
No,
it's kind of the way she described it as well.
Yeah. No, it's such a beautiful shot. You don't need it. You really don't.
Thanks. Again, apologies to everybody else. I just followed the brief. Did
Yeah,
the 2 shots.
I changed it. I think you may probably saw the brief before I changed it. So there's
Okay.
no harm, no foul. No worries. All right, Patricia Keegan.
Yes, Don.
All
Here.
right, so we've got a splash that's kind of wrapping around this thing. Very cool. Did you shoot this in one shot? Are we photoshopping in or? Patricia?
Sorry, I was on mute. I forgot. The bottle was shot separate. The ripples were shot separate, and the splash was separate.
Okay.
And then I tried to blend them very tediously in Photoshop.
It doesn't look terribly terrible. It doesn't look bad at all. You've got this wrapping around the front of the bottle, which sells us on the fact that it's not photoshopped, because how would you do that, right? You've
Well,
got that.
The bottom part, like the cap carter part, was part of the splash. Like I
Right.
used the bottle to splash.
Well, that was really, really good, because it helps sell us on the idea of what we're doing here. Your light from the side is a little bit poppy because we're kind of losing that edge, but we've got it here. Do you see it? We've got the edge.
Yeah, they weren't matched. I have, if you look at the behind the scenes, I have 2 different flashes. There are different attachment things.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what you needed to do is between here and here, put a black card. Okay.
Oh, whereabouts, in what way, what sort of an angle?
The black card would give you the reflection of the black down that side of the bottle. So let's go back and look at it.
So would it be perpendicular to the light, or to the soft boxy thing
Yeah.
on the light?
Yeah, it's just coming from, just standing up at this angle here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, remember, we're not bouncing anything. All we're doing is right now, this flash is going off, and because it's a flash, it's lighting up a lot of peripheral. So it's actually making this bright as well over here, right?
Right.
When that
Okay.
becomes bright, it gives us a bright highlight down that
Okay,
side.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Over here, you've got a lot more distance, so it goes darker.
Yeah.
That's what gives us
I have a little problem with the space where I'm trying to do it, because it's only a small bedroom.
That's all right. That's all right. And so we've got it where it goes a little bit darker there. We get that pinch of darkness, and we get the light against it. And over here, that dark card would have done the same thing. Right on that edge, it would have just been a little bit darker.
So is
against
the
front.
right side better than the left side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we can see it against the background. Now this is
I wasn't sure, because there's this kind of that highlight thing on the right, so I wasn't sure whether that was too bright.
no, very, very nice. This is an easy fix. Just cut this out. Cut this out down to about, say about there, okay? Cut this out, move it to a new layer, and then very gently darken this area right here.
Yeah, I can probably do that much in Photoshop.
Yeah, just very gently, very gently. Label looks pretty good. In here, we've got get something to reflect this gold. We needed a white card out here.
Oh,
So
right.
that the gold
Okay.
would see that white card. I think that would help your label as well.
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit with the label. Because the writing wasn't 100%. I didn't feel it came up 100%.
Yep.
Sorry, I was trying a different bottle as well.
That's okay. It's a different bottle, but you got this, the same thing though. Your camera's here. And
Yeah,
so
it was all the same lighting. I just had a different bottle, because I started off trying to do yellow and blue with blue water. I gave up.
what you do is you get a nice big board like this, and you bring it up to the camera
Okay.
like this. There's enough light coming from your lights to light it up, and then the angle of incidence, angle of reflection, it's this white board is going to light your label and all that gold.
All right, okay.
Okay.
If you tell me angle of incidence and angle of reflection enough, I'll eventually get there.
Yep. Angle.
I had one other question. I was
Yeah.
trying to, sorry, if you just look, I was trying to blend the kind of horizon and the background a bit more because it was a bit shadowy around where the horizon would be.
Yeah, I like that though. I don't have a problem with that. It's not a sharp horizon. It's sort of whisper of a horizon.
Yeah.
I think that works very well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure. I was trying to brighten it up, but then I kept losing the splash.
No.
And I brightened it up too much. I lost the splash then.
Yeah, no, don't lose your splash in order to save that. I think the fact that it's soft and out of focus is on your side.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet. Very nice. Armin Hammer. EJ.
Hey, Don.
Hi.
Hey, I re-edited this twice based on input from Giannis and Arnold, because I messed up some of the editing when I was trying to clone stuff. So I guess the last one would be the best one.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much cleaner in here. Label looks great. This idea of the splash to the side, really clever. Not bad. Not bad at all. I really like that, EJ.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like that the splash on the bottle kind of leads you to the splash that he made on the side.
Yeah. It almost to me, it almost told a story. To me, it's like it's bobbing in the water, right? And whatever was up here fell.
Yeah, I saw Giannis's picture where he had that real subtle drop coming on. I said, I'm gonna try to do something like that. Kind of got my idea. That's where I got it from.
Yeah. No, I think very good. Really good.
Thanks.
I like it a lot. Yeah, far better. See how flat this is?
Yeah.
Yep. Always better to have some contrast and some really nice stuff. And these blues that are in here and the greens that are in here just really pop off this orange background. So thanks to the guys who helped him out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I took the fish tank out when I took the picture, but basically it was inverted, and it was I used that PVC to hold it in there with a zip tie upside down.
Yeah, so this is something falling into the water here.
Yes, I use a little teapot to kind of try to get a delicate bubble splash on it.
Mm-hmm. Nicely done. Very cool. Judy.
Hi, Don.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Pink.
Yeah.
All kinds of pink here.
Right. That was my big Photoshop experience for this assignment.
In what way now?
I watched a couple of videos on creating a gradient. The first one was on creating a gradient on a blank canvas and then kind of applying it, afterwards.
Sure.
And the second video was as part of the workflow as a layer in the actual process. So this one is the gradient in the process of working on the image.
Very good. I'm going to paste a Photoshop into chat. I'm going to paste a YouTube for a Photoshop on blending layers that I found to be really, really good. I just posted it for the Project 52 folks. So I just copied it over and stuck it in there. How many pictures is this, Judy? One picture?
2.
Okay.
The bottle with the water, And then the second one is the bottle, from the top of the bottle to that red band at the bottom of the label.
Got it here.
Yeah, that's a second one that I cut out and placed it on the other bottle. The other bottle had splashes on it.
Okay. Subtle around here. Let's look at your lighting. Okay. All right. Oh, that's a nice way to get rid of the lip on this thing.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
yeah.
So you've got this one firing through a scrim,
Right.
and this one is firing naked. Just
No, there's a scrim there.
oh, got it right there. Got
Yeah.
it. I was gonna say I didn't see that naked light happening anywhere. Okay, so you got the scrim on both sides.
And the top light was to try to prevent the shadow I was getting on that back white piece of white foam core.
Okay, so just dropping a little bit. You got a lot of light, and the pink is coming. It's got to be. Is that Photoshop or is it coming actually from the?
That's the gradient. That's the gradient.
Got it.
Yeah, you know, when you get the little dialog box, when you're making a gradient, you can spin it.
Yep.
That I used the spin on that. I just kind of kept rotating it till I got something I liked.
Got it. All right. Yeah, it's very pretty. The colors are pretty. The pink coming into the label, is that the way the label is, or is the label all white?
You know, when you were talking about that with someone else, I went and got the bottle to see if it was. I think that's from the gradient. Oh, no, because I use multiply. So no, I think that is, it's not coming through because it's white on, when I'm looking at it in my hand, it's white.
So I'm wondering if it's the light.
light.
You're putting light through this thing, right?
Yes, yes.
there's
It's not
red
an
behind-
opaque
I think it's-
bottle.
What's that?
It's not an opaque bottle, but it's not completely translucent.
I
either.
know. Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing here. That white board behind there is lighting up. You got a flash on it.
Right.
So we're
Yes.
driving some of the red from behind into this label.
Yes.
Clean it up.
Okay.
Clean it up.
All right.
Yeah. Make it white, because right now it's distracting because we know it's not supposed to be white. And what it does to me is it makes me tend to think the image is out of focus or out of whack or out of phase something.
Uh-huh.
We clean that up and it'll definitely look like it's exactly supposed to be there, and probably over in this corner as well.
All right.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3 lights for a tiny bottle. It's crazy. Is Joe here?
Hey, Don.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Okay.
All right, so
Top got skewed when I was dropping it. And I thought there was a way when you do like edit the free transform where you can put a spot and rotate it, but I could not find the little dot anymore in Photoshop.
for this top here,
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of rotate it back to where it was supposed to be. And I thought when you select an item in free transform that you could put a dot inside or outside of the transformation box and rotate it around that spot.
is that on a new layer?
No.
You got to put it on a layer. The dot won't appear unless it's on a layer.
All right.
So you got to cut that bad boy out,
Okay.
move it to a new layer, and then you should be able to spin it.
Okay. Well, it was 1:30 this morning and I gave up looking for it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It will not appear on a flat Photoshop file. It'll only appear on a layer because otherwise you'd use a different tool to turn the whole image.
Right.
You can't even do that with the whole image. You have to make a copy of the image to rotate it. So,
Okay.
all right. Light coming through the back is pretty through this thing.
That's back left.
It's going to be, the reflection has no color in it, which I find interesting.
I don't know why that happened. It was almost in every shot. The color for some reason went dark. Every reflection. There's a little bit from the glass. When you get up toward the top of the bottle, it just sort of went dark. I don't know if it's the angle
What
that
you have to do is you have to get down low and look up and see if you have anything See, the light could be reflecting to us,
Right.
but not reflecting down.
Well, because I was shooting down on it about 30 degrees or so.
Okay, so your pick from your angle, you're getting light on these orange things. What I'm saying is, by the time it gets down here to
No.
here, the view of the water going up, maybe these things dark and not getting the highlight on it.
Okay.
So you have to check out exactly how that's working there. I like the ripples, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the ripples were the easy part. I still have trouble with doing splashes in Photoshop and masking them out.
So what are we shooting into here? Is this like a little
Aluminum baking dish with a white inside a white plastic bag. Originally I was gonna thought about dropping objects to get the splash, and I just decided to drop the bottle instead.
okay? And that's a single shot?
That's the splash, and yes. And then the ripple's the second shot.
Cool. Yeah, once you get this to a new layer, you'll be able to fix it.
Okay. All right, thanks.
You bet.
I was wondering, Don, just for my own, could it be that the light's just bright enough in the back that it's actually creating that shadow too, which is also.
I think it's a negative. I think it's a negative reaction. I think it's a reflection of the underside of this. The light we're seeing in the water is the backlight, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so what this is actually a reflection of the negative side of this bottle.
That could,
From that angle, it's not seeing light.
And the bottle shows up because it's transparent.
Right.
That shows up in the splash. Okay.
Does that make sense, David? Yeah, because this is not.
Thank you. Yeah. Shot.
Yeah, it's not a shadow, it's a reflection. All right, Giannis.
Hello, Don.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I really like your ripples here. Look at this. I hope everybody sees it. Very delicate back poppy light catching the little design elements in here. You can see it right here on these things. Remember, somebody who loves design as much as we love photography designed this bottle, and those little those little lines there, they're not there for safety reasons. They're not there for manufacturing reasons. They're there because they look cool. And when you're designing and when you're photographing anything that's been designed like that, you want to ask yourself, how do I bring this stuff out? How do I pay respect to the designer who probably did these things? He probably did them 50 times before he was really liking it. If the designer came in here, she came in and she said, oh, I'm going to have this bevel like this. And she beveled it 50 times till she got the perfect bevel. We want to pay respect to that by saying, hey, we're going to shoot that and we're going to show the world what you did.
Yes.
As designer, going to show the world what you did. You did a really nice job with this, Giannis. Highlight right up the front. Label looks good. This is great. The little tiny wisp of a splash is so Dior, understated Dior, and all the different highlights on the cap tell us what that cap both feels like and looks like.
It looks like a three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just one shot. I had that on a baking tray, we say. Yeah, and filled it with clear water and tapping with 2 fingers to make the ripples. And when I saw that the reflection of the bottle was covered with ripples, I lifted immediately the hand, and that created that splash. And then I stopped there and took a clean plate for a background in the water, and then just clean the handle that was glued on the bottom.
You have a little bit of a gradient going here too, Giannis, that I like. It's bright here and it's a little bit darker over there.
Yeah.
Is this the background you shot or is this Photoshop?
No, it's not Photoshop at all. It was like that.
Okay.
I did nothing in post-production, just color correction.
What
and,
I would actually want you to do is I'd want you to have it brighter over here. Reverse these two tonalities if you can. Reverse the tonalities so we have the lighter area against the shadow side of the unit and the darker area against the bright side of the unit. Right now we've got bright to bright, dark to dark. Not wrong, not stylistic.
I have that shot. I will post that later in the group. I have that. Yeah, I did that too, but because you said on a brief should be light color, and that's why I did that. I have that version.
I wouldn't change the tonality. I don't want it to be dark back there. The tonality is fine the way it is.
Just to open them up a bit?
No, reverse it. Make the brighter area back here and this darker area up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, very cool.
And that's the BTS. That what I did there.
All right, two boxes of posing. Is this light going off, Giannis?
Yes, it's off. It's just to hand the background paper because the C-stand, I glued the bottle and I haven't any other C-stand. Okay. I put that paper on the strip box.
But the strip box isn't firing?
Yeah, it was off, yes.
Okay, very good. Well done, sir. Well planned out. Well planned out.
Hi there.
Hi, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well.
What is this sitting on, Jason?
It's it's a white IKEA lid.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch.
Okay. We need to bring the exposure up a little bit to get that to white because it's dull now and it's affecting everything. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to show you what I mean in Photoshop.
I think actually that's gelled. So I have white ones, but I was going for a sort of all one kind of peachy, pinky kind of feel.
I think that's not a problem. If this is the look you are going for, then you got it. And it's not a bad look. It's very kind of hip and new. Looks to me like the bottle might be
a little bit twisted.
The twist I don't mind. I was wondering if it was straight up and down. I guess it is straight up and down. The twist I don't mind at all. And I would tell you the same thing. You've got the lighter area over here and the darker area here. You see that? Reverse them so that we have the darker area here against this light bottle and the lighter area here against the dark edge of the bottle. Right. Get a little more dimension with it. I'm thinking that maybe it's just a contrast issue because these are, what are those in real life? Are they white or are they?
No, it's like this kind of pinky color. It's all really kind of soft and that's like the embossment of the logo, right? So it's all very muted.
Very muted. Then pop a little bit of contrast.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit. Don't want to take away from your look and your vision of having this thing be very, very soft because right now it is. My concern would be if I ran this against anything else, like let's say it was an ad in a magazine, right? And the page on the right side was bright white with a picture in it.
Yeah.
It would dull this, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to like bring it up just a little bit. Pop it. Yeah, good.
So I misread the brief as well, although I did read it a number of times and I supplied 2 images.
Well, if you read it the first day, you probably read the 2 images.
Yeah.
Because someone pointed that out to me. I think it was on Sunday or even may have been Monday, and I went in and fixed it. So no worries.
Right. So this is the other one.
I like this one much better than
Zoom
the
out
other.
a bit.
This one's a stylistic thing. So,
Mhm.
don't worry about it. Like I say, some art directors are going to love it. Some may not. That's okay. This one looks really, really good. Having the light come through the bottle, very good. Your label looks great. And the fact that you have all the white part of the label is behind the text. And as the bottle goes away, it goes to gray, but that's okay. That's all right. We don't care. That's what pops out. This has the pop, the snap to it. This up here could use a little snap. So you're going to have to get up here. Is this cut out and put on the background, by the way?
Nope.
Okay. You're going to have to come up here, cut this lid out a little bit and snap the contrast on it. Because see how dull it is?
Yeah.
And see how this is not dull?
Yeah, it's kind of an ugly lid, but yes,
Yeah.
I can definitely improve it. I think you're a bit zoomed in there. You could zoom out a bit.
Did I do that again?
I don't know where it just came in big. And there you can see the lip on the tray that I was dropping it into.
Mm-hmm. And how did you do the splash?
Dropping the bottle.
Is
I'm
it a
getting
single-
much better at dropping the bottle, and took some advice from Giannis and put some padding underneath my tray so that it wasn't just dropping all the time on a hard surface.
Got it.
And used milk crates. Don't know who gave that advice. Milk crates are a great one. My little table wasn't getting soaked, so yeah.
Excellent. Excellent, very excellent. Now, is this the bottle that you dropped, or did you Photoshop in a second bottle?
No, that's all one shot. That's the
One
bottle I
shot.
dropped.
Right.
Yeah. Well, one shot after, as a few.
Sure. That's your set there.
Yeah, a little bit messy. But
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe a drawing would have been easier to explain, but I have 2 black cards on either side of the tray.
Uh-huh.
And then I have that strip box on, I guess it's camera left, kind of angled to get a gradient. And then behind that is an octabox pointing up at that scrim in the background to give the gradient.
Okay.
And then I'm sort of feathering the top light a little bit to just move the light over a little bit that way. So
there we go. Possibly what we've done here, what you've ended up doing is to put more light on this cap than it needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, very
the
good.
top.
Yeah, quite good.
Thanks.
Josh Crandall shot the dial soap thing. We've seen this before.
Yeah. Just sort of worked out that way, I guess.
Yeah. That's nice and clean, Josh.
Thank you.
Great highlights right in here coming down into the unit. Maybe the label, a little more pop and contrast, but you don't need to pop the bottle and you don't need to pop the water. Looks great. I love the little curves. Like it's almost like it's a splash on the top of the world, isn't it? Your splash looks really cool. Is this a Photoshop splash or did you get it to do that?
That splash I made by dropping a little tube of gel food coloring, and then I actually had to put it in twice so that I could get the front part of the splash in front of the bottle and the back part behind the bottle. So it's the same splash, but layered in there twice. So it looks like the bottle's in the middle of it.
Nice. Worked out well.
Thank you.
Worked out well.
It took some work, but
Yeah.
I think the results turned out pretty good. And I was lighting it from behind to like kind of get it light up and glow. And I think I think that's why the label kind of got a little maybe washed out. And so I can definitely see where it needs a little more contrast, but I struggled with that until I realized I was being stupid and I should take the label off the back of the bottle so the light would shine through and not project all the letters. onto the front. So that's what I did.
Cool. You did a
But-
nice job.
Thank you.
Did a nice job.
I do have a question on that.
Sure.
Is the gray part does that open there? Like underneath the blue cap part? Because it looks like there's a section. Does that open there?
Like, I think that gray part is the cap they stuck on the bottle, but the part you're supposed to open is the flip top. But yeah, from the gray part up is like a separate piece.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was like, if that don't open, what happened?
Yeah, it's like that. I think that's just
Yeah.
the way they made it.
Oh, that's kind of cool design.
Yeah, it's a neat bottle.
And it's just, is it a shampoo or is it just water?
It's a body wash.
Oh, okay. Can splash ripple. All right.
I just used a little shell pie plate because I didn't want like a big edge in the back and I wanted to get like a shallow angle on it.
Sure.
And that's what I had. So I used that.
Really well put together.
Thank you.
Gosh. Photoshop skills. Very good.
Thank you.
Arnold.
Hi, Don. Hi, everyone.
This is Arnold's favorite product, because if you guys don't know, Arnold is 101. Just had his first birthday. Doesn't look a day over 70.
Yeah, I originally had a different concept of this because I have pretty much done identical image from the previous assignments. So my original concept had a cascading waterfall effect, like this is going over the cliff. And the problem was I shot about 2,000 images on that and it did not work. I believe a sample of that is in the behind the scenes. No, in the comments. I think it could be, yeah, that I was shooting that at 6.5 frames per second. So eventually I got about 2,000 images and it did not work. I had to abandon it because it was just a struggle. So eventually this is more simplified approach to it. This is a single shot with the water and the bottle, but the bottle has composited components to it to shape it up.
Okay.
So
the bottle looks really good. Reflection of the bottle looks really good. I like when we just sort of make it out in there.
Yeah, I had to put like a darker blue paper under the water. It's clear water. If you look at behind the scenes, I had like a checkerboard pattern on the plastic because what I did is I used a developing tray, my old developing tray. And because the water tank was not working, so I had to find another way. And then I put the checkerboard pattern on top and it did not work. So I said, what can I do to remove the checkerboard pattern? So I figured I'd just put a dark blue paper under the water. And that's what I got.
Well, you'll get that beautiful highlight that you have here. That's your backlight on here.
Right.
That I really, and you're using a bright to a dark. You got your light in pretty close back here, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you're using this gradient. Your light source is a gradient in itself. That is very cool. When we go back to the image now, look what it does to the water. It gives us brighter, darker. It plays with it a little bit. If it was all white like this, like the back that you see here, if it was all bright like that, it would be not as interesting, I think, as the gradient.
Yeah, I had to play with the zoom head setting of the flash there to get that, because if it was like a 24, it was all white and I didn't have the proper water gradient. So I wind up at like, I think this was at 50, 35, no, 50 or 70. I don't remember now. To get that.
Okay. Well, it looks really good.
Thanks.
Looks really good. Nice shot. Really well thought out. I love how you've got this little strip box coming in over here, which is really just doing a little bit to the cap here. Am I right?
Yeah, it's basically just a fill, yeah, for the top and a little bit for the side.
Yeah.
Most of the lights coming from the right side. So
yeah, very nice, man.
Thanks.
And the clear plexi rod is always a great idea. Easier to take out. Much easier.
Yep.
To take out. Yeah. Jerry, great use of color here, Jerry.
Hi, Don.
Hi. One thing I would have you do as the art director, okay, I would have you see the color of these cucumbers in here. It's got a little bit of a green cast to them, right?
Yeah.
You see the yellow cast in yours?
Yeah.
Mute it down, make it almost the same color as that. And the reason is, look how this yellow jumps out in front of this green, right? Because yellow and green are complementary colors. We take this back down, soften it just a little bit, just going to add a little blue to it. We take it down, but then it'll equal all out and the cucumbers won't pull your eye quite as much as they do now. Your logo looks good. All of this looks good through here. I love the little dark area on the back of the cap. Look at that right here. The cap is reading really nicely. Let's see what Jerry did. Okay, so you're just using what we call studio black. Studio black means just that crap back there nobody can see. Looks like your light is moved fairly forward of your subjects here.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So this cap, the darkness on that cap is actually because the cap is at the angle that it's reflecting that wall back there, which is a gray wall going much darker in the exposure of things here. Jerry's exposure is driving that wall probably pretty darn dark. What is the, you got a gel on this wall?
Yeah, I've got it just behind the bottle. You can just see the top of it there is a light on the wall, yeah. Spray a light on the wall.
Lighting the wall, but you can see how this fades off really fast. So by the time it gets up to where this is reflecting it, it's way, way up there and it's far darker. And that's what we're getting on it, because that's a shiny cap, shiny plastic cap. I like what you did with your highlight here. This gradiented highlight looks through. It's a pretty cool shot. Now we've got a splash and we've got cucumbers here. So something tells me that we had to Photoshop something in here.
Yeah, there was 4 shots, I think, yeah. The one for the splash and one for the ripples as well.
Okay. One for the splash, one for the ripples.
And then I had one clean one without any color, and then I added a color one as well.
Okay.
The background.
Okay. So this label and everything was shot separate on a clean one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you put it together really well, Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a struggle. I still have a lot to learn in Photoshop. So
just a little. Yeah, well, you did a pretty good job. We just got to blue this up, take the yellow out of this so it blends more rather than pops more, and we'll have it.
Okay.
Say yes to soothing cucumbers. Whenever I think of getting a cucumber in the eye, I don't think of that. I think of like somebody throwing a cucumber at me. It's like, Asha.
Hi.
Asha, really pretty. Look at this. I don't have a clue what you're doing here. Okay. So what is happening? Is this falling from the sky?
Yeah, I'm pouring it down.
You're what?
I'm pouring it down from above.
Gosh, yes. Look at you got the ripples coming out here. you got the splash coming out of the cantaloupe, coconut. The coconut is lit beautifully. Everything on here is lit. Look at the gold, beautiful gold here in the highlight here. This label might need to come up a little bit.
Okay.
Now I was going to call it a pumpkin. This coconut, see how white that coconut is, right? See, this one's not quite as white. We got to whiten this coconut up just a little bit. Make it match the one on the label.
All right.
And look at your horizon. Look at you rocking this shot.
Thank you.
Really well done, Asha.
Thank you.
Let's look at your behind the scenes here for lighting.
So I have a flash which is lighting onto the background, and then I have 2 lights on either side.
Okay, so you got a flash hitting the background from above, or from the side?
No, from behind, under the product.
Oh, okay. So we've actually got a little bit of a spray light going back there. Look at this delicate texture. The texture is actually the shot. It's actually in part of the shot. Wow. Really nice, Asha.
Thank you. I just was wondering, because there are I wanted those water drops on the bottle, but I know it's not much on the top, but you know where the coconut is? I was wondering whether I should take that out or leave it as is.
What, this up here?
No,
Here?
where on the label, no, on the label where you
On the
have the
label?
coconut.
Here?
Yeah. Yeah. You can see right in the center of the coconut there's a couple of drops, yeah.
That would be an art director question. I don't know if there's a right answer to that. I generally you would take them out. Did you shoot the label without water on it?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Then I would probably take that and work that in. However, Asha, leave this. Maybe leave those,
Okay.
just blend this part out right here. Well, I'll even leave that one. Just blend this part out right here where it's going over the exfoliating body wash, and I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, just reveal there. And you can see there's a little bit different color between this guy and this guy. So put your info palette on here and then make this to be the same tonality.
Okay, I'll do that, yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me, Don.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment on this?
Sure.
I think she needs more space on top.
Well, maybe, yeah.
It's too close. It just doesn't have, to offset the weight of the middle. But that's me.
Yeah.
It's probably a third more.
It's a raw file, because if I was doing this for an ad, I would probably do this one. Just like that. Have all my stuff down here.
Right.
And my headline up here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very good. Oh, that's
Thank
the
you.
last shot.
Yes.
Picture. Oh, wow. Great stuff, you guys.
Don, did you say you dropped a link for a YouTube on blending
In the chat.
in the chat? Because I went there, I couldn't see it.
It should be the last thing in the chat.
Oh,
It is, yep, it's there.
It's there, yeah.
So, Don, what is the next assignment? Well, the final one.
You'll know when I make it live here in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Basically, take whatever you've learned here and do a really killer shot or 2. So next week you can do 2 shots, but they have to work together. So it's kind of like a freebie with a twist to it, is the 2 pictures have to work together. So you can't shoot like a liquor bottle and a perfume bottle. It has to be a fragrance. Maybe it's flowers and a perfume bottle. Maybe it's a glass of beer and a bottle of beer. It's make it work together. So 2 shots.
Okay.
All right. And it's any splash, any of the techniques that we've done over the past 7 weeks, whichever ones work for you and that you love. So if you're going to come out of this with at least 2 really killer shots. So that's your assignment. All of you have some killer shots that you've done through the course. No doubt about it, but this is your chance to sparkle. Okay.
Don, can there be 2 different techniques for the different?
It can be 2 different techniques. It could be the same technique. Absolutely.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Totally your call. As long as the 2 shots really rock, then it's your call.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right.
May I ask a question, Don?
Certainly.
Let's say I have a fragrance perfume bottle, and the next one I have a model with a perfume bottle.
Yeah.
Is that related to each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Same perfume bottle?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you could have a perfume bottle on a stone construction at the top. You could have a pair, that same bottle with a stone that's been like whacked with a hammer and split apart, sitting there at the bottom. As long as the 2 pictures, think of it as a campaign.
Yes, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
For the bottle to be in the foreground and the background, the model. That's that kind of style.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Don.
Yeah. Many times ad agencies will ask for 3 or 4 pictures, so that, but of a specific thing that they want to do, so that it can be used in different places. They might want this demographic. Actually, let me show you an example of one of our put it away. All right. One of our Project 52 folks who, well, you talk about fitting right in with this particular class. There we go. This is a photographer in South Africa, Carmen. She lives in a small town. I don't know, hour and a half from Cape Town. And this is the job that she just got. This is a real job that she's sharing with us. That's these guys. Now, the art director demanded this blue. In fact, they gave her the numbers. This is the Photoshop numbers for this blue. This is the Photoshop numbers for this orange. This is the Photoshop number for the peeling of the orange. All of this stuff is put together. So what she did, you know, how do you get that perfect color? You can't without Photoshop. So she went and got a board, painted the board with as close a color as she could find in paint, painted it, shot against that board, and then converted that board. It's easier to take that board from wherever it was to this same color than it was to do anything else. Then each one of these oranges are masked out and that same color type thing applied to them. So this splash class is not just for fun. This is work that has been commissioned. All of these pictures will be appearing all over Africa and I guess far Middle East, India, Pakistan, Malaysia, those things, these ads will be appearing there. The label put on afterwards so they could determine exactly where the label was. Now, it's a lot of work in here. A lot of work. The art director gave her, I mean, she's like 2 oranges together, 1 sliced. This was, an orange, orange that's peeled and 1 little piece. The art director is not leaving anything up to chance, but the photographer gets to do what she wanted to do. When she gets down to the orange, the same thing with this orange. That is a called out specific Pantone color that she had to achieve here. So she shot this against an orange painted board and then replaced the color smoothly in Photoshop. So yeah, there's splash photography being done in the real world too, folks. It's really, really fun. These are all dropped into an aquarium. And then she removed the highlight, the top of the water in the ones from the side, the horizon line in the water, they're all removed. So there's throwing splashes, there's dropped in water splashes, they're dropped in a small shallow bowl splashes, there's splashes shot from below up. I believe these are shot from the bottom of the aquarium up into the splash. I might be wrong, but every different way you could think of. And that's a real job. That's a really well-paying job. So, all right. Where did we go here? Where are we going? Facebook. Here we go. All right. Any questions? All right. Very good. Very good.
Don?
Yes.
You mentioned how they gave her the color codes. All the shots, all the renders I've done the same thing. Like all the colors I've handpicked and matched the codes. My render today, it's all the same pink. So the liquid in the bottle is actually the same pink that's in the background. The variation comes from the light, the amount of light hitting on it.
Yeah, the difference is hue and value.
Also on purpose,
right?
I wanted to do that.
The difference is we refer to as hue and value, I believe. So if you take a particular blue or an orange or a pink in your case, that hue remains the same. You can make it brighter or darker, but the hue remains the same. If we change the color, we're changing the value. No. Yes, if we make it brighter and darker and the hue stays the same, we're changing the value. If we change the hue, we change the color across the entire spectrum.
Hey, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an easy way to think about it, right? When you add white, that's a tint. When you add black, that's a shade. So when you add white to a color, that's tinting. When you add black to a color, that's shading.
Right. But if you add blue to a yellow, that's hue.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can make that hue, you can make it a bright hue and you make it a dark hue. But it's still going to have the same, it's like a gradient. It's still going to have the same color value. It's just going to have a brightness, a luminance value that changes.
Right. Yeah, that's a play between luminance and chroma.
Yeah, it was, it's very interesting. It was really interesting to her about how exact the info was from the art director in Cape Town. When you're used to shooting for yourself or you're shooting for your portfolio, you don't do things like choose a Pantone color that's going to be for the background kind of stuff. But maybe you should. Maybe you should one day take Pantone color and say, that's the color I want my background to be, and figure out how to make it.
Right, because we have not talked about color separation, have we? Right. we have not talked about how CMYK works, how spot color works, things like that.
No. No, it's a different conversation.
That's one of the things I appreciated about this brief, though, this assignment, because you gave us the extra sort of text around. It has to be 5,000 pixels on the long edge, and has to be. Now I know we're not actually using those things,
Right.
but it made me, when I was framing my shot, I was purposely making sure that my edges were as close to. It was very little cropping happening at all, so I could have as big an image as possible. And I just think it gave some more.
There's kind of a rule of thumb to that too. So what you want to do is especially when they're talking about pixel sizes, and sometimes they're asking for a certain type of image, a certain maybe. I know that in New York, San Francisco, and a little bit of LA, there are ad agencies who, if you shoot for them, you must either shoot a Phase or a Hasselblad.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. They want that quality or whatever, that file size. Most other people don't care. Magazines don't care. You can shoot a crop sensor, obviously, they don't care, but they really care. So when you're shooting this stuff, you have to frame it exactly like they've framed it. You may have a overlay that's sitting on top of your Lightroom, right? So you're shooting to it. What you do is you get it framed up the way you like it. You look at that final image and go, gosh, that's great. And take the camera and back up 2 steps.
Right.
Yep. Because you got to give them room to move it this way. If you give them no room, that's the layout, it can't move, they're not going to be happy. They're going to want to bring that lemon down a little bit. They're going to put that horizon up this way. So just back up 2 steps and give them room around. The big fallacy about back in the 2010s, the big fallacy was everybody has to shoot full frame because it's a better image. Oh, bullshit. It wasn't a better image. It was more crop room. You had more crop room with a full frame than a crop sensor. Today cameras are the dirty little secret. The cameras are so good today. You could buy a Rebel T1 with a kit lens and go out and shoot for pretty much any magazine on the planet. As a matter of fact, Bob Christ shoots for National Geographic. And when he goes to really gritty places like Zimbabwe, where the chances of you coming home with your same cameras as you left are fairly slim, they'll just rob you blind. He doesn't take D4s and D5s. He takes those little 3400 D3400s or whatever they are, and he takes the red ones or the blue ones or whatever those colors, they made them for a couple of years. He takes those. No one's ever complained. Crop sensor camera, kit lenses, and he's shooting for Nat Geo. The quality of the entry-level cameras far exceeds the ability of ink on paper. We've come a long ways with digital images. Ink on paper, they're still doing the same crap they did 50 years ago. It's a screen, haven't made those changes yet. So the reality is you can do about anything, but you do have to give them some crop room. All right, guys, get excited for the portrait class. Oh boy, it's going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be doing one of the reviews from On the Road. I don't know where I'm going to go in August for my birthday, but if you have any great ideas for a birthday trip that's only 4 days away from Phoenix, let me know, send me a thing. And remember, I'm on a motorcycle and I want to be where it's cool. I don't want to be in the middle of the desert. That's the whole.
When does the portrait class start, Don?
Starts on 1st of August.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1st of July. Yeah.
Is it okay to use the same model?
Oh, it's a great thing to do the same model. Absolutely. We're going to have, it's a shorter class. It's only four.
Okay.
That gives me
We are under lockdown, so I don't know. I don't even think I'll be able to go out.
Oh, you're still, where are you, Asha?
India.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And it's different in each state. So my state has extended its lockdown into June now. So I don't know how long it's going to go on.
Well, you know, those lockdowns really work. Look at the rest of the world. We've only been locked down for a year and a half. So
yeah, we were
you know,
not.
if the damn lockdowns work, we'd have licked this thing back a year ago, June, right? Obviously, they need to try something else.
We had lockdown here, and we had 200 up to 200 cases for the first year. That was it. And then
Oh,
someone
my
flew
state.
in. Someone flew in a pair of high-class prostitutes from Dubai on a private jet that were infected, and they screwed the country.
Well, one thing that we always have to remember, we are, you know, very bright humanoids. We've built roads, we've gone to the moon and all that stuff, but we're up against a virus. It's a virus. It's not going to do what we tell it to do. We don't have a clue what it does. I mean, we've been dealing with a virus called the common cold now forever, and no one's ever been able to fix it. So it's a virus. It's going to kind of do what it wants to do, no matter what we do and how much pain we bring to our civilization. But let's hope everything works out better. But you could actually use yourself if you wanted to, Asha.
I'm trying to bribe my son, so.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Tell him if he wants to eat during the month of July, he will post.
Unfortunately, he cooks. So.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah,
And,
thanks, Don.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Don.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.